I'm Bouwer van Niekerk from STROOM. We are a cargo e-bike manufacturer from design to manufacturing in South Africa. But not just for South Africa, but for the rest of Africa. I hope today in this presentation that it's a bit of a vision presentation. We have our vehicles established, but our next question is, how do we roll out hubs of cargo e-bikes in communities, in areas that is formerly, in South Africa, we refer to them as townships or informal settlements. That's our first step. How do we establish all the infrastructure in one go to have a logistics hub that serves the community in which it operates? It's important to note that by 2050, a quarter of the world's population will be from Africa. And so all the actions in terms of being green and all the initiatives, it's so important to realize that we need to bring these solutions also to Africa. And for Africa to participate in the greening of our economy, or the global greening of our economy. We in South Africa, 50% of all our youth are unemployed. And it's exponential graph. The longer someone is unemployed, the more unlikely they are to be employed. And it is essentially a question of long-term healthy democracy. And this is where cargo e-bikes play such an important role, in that cargo e-bikes do not require a driver's license. In any form of logistics, that is one of the most prohibiting factors for women and youth to participate in cargo e-bike or in a logistics sector. So for us, it is that bigger picture of how do we keep long-term a healthy democracy globally, greening our environment, and cargo bikes play a super important role in that. As I said, we manufacture cargo bikes, and we roll these cargo bikes out in communities without the need of a driver's license. We found that by implementing cargo e-bikes in our communities, we bring work close to home. So if you look at the community for instance, in South Africa, and we talk about specifically the township communities, they are still very underserved with logistics. So you can't just say deliver a package at home, or so those services do not exist, and there's various reasons for it. And some of the reasons are it's just too expensive, normal gas-powered vehicles. Others are that there's a bit of challenges with roads, infrastructure, houses close to each other, cars can't access it, etc. But with a cargo bike, we bridge that gap. By implementing our solutions in the communities, for the communities, we have safe deliveries, because everybody is looking out for each other in that delivery system, and the community is looking out for deliveries that is made in those communities. So we have, over the 18-month period, we had no cargo lost in 3 townships, over 40,000 kilometers of deliveries, and 17 drivers. We call them local heroes. And local heroes is a community, we call it a social leadership entrepreneur. It's someone that stands out in the community, and we partner with in that community to run that specific hub. We provide the rider training and then battery swapping. That's our next step, where our vehicles can actually work in a 2-shift system. So each vehicle employs more than 2 people, because you have 2 shifts and you have 7 days a week, and you have your support staff, something like mechanic and so forth that comes with. So each bike can actually employ 2.5 people. and zero fuel cost with our system because we're going to go solar, and zero emissions. Now, this is the concept. We have the bikes, we have manufactured 3 models, they work, they rolled out. Now we're going to say, let's do a solar powered system. Solar on the roof, charging our batteries. Our battery technology allows us to charge directly from solar panel. Second, having the batteries are swappable so that we can do a 2-shift system, and implementing a small mechanical workshop for the basic repairs. We couple that with our bikes to say a fleet of bikes accompany a workstation or a solar hub, and this can be rolled out anywhere. And I would love to have the conversation. If you talk about factory, a hub, container hub, solar charging, inverter, welder, you can actually do it and do assemblies. So scale anywhere with our solar container hub solution with the cargo bikes associated with it. So we found that it takes about 10 cargo e-bikes to service a community of 60,000 people if you work 2-day shift system 7 days a week. And we in South Africa, we've signed a contract with Car Tracker, so we track our kilometers. And so we link the kilometers with our carbon life cycle study on our bikes to actually see what the CO2 offset is that we achieve. We partner, like I said, with Langa Bikes, in this case in Langa, of Langa Bicycle Hub, and a system with 10 cargo e-bikes can do about 9,000 deliveries a month as max capacity. And so each 10 bikes creates about 25 jobs. In Tembisa, Johannesburg, it's 1,500 kilometers from this project that I just mentioned in Langa. We have a project with Smartfill, and they do refills of where you can buy food in small quantities, like rice and mealie meal and coffee and the like. And you basically, if you have €1, you can go and buy yourself €1 worth of weight of food. So we do the distribution for them from the hub to those little shops to refill. And that allows us to do up to 200 kilograms in one trip with our cargo bike and trailer combination. Our factory is in Stellenbosch, South Africa, and we pride ourselves as being the first fully fledged e-cargo bike manufacturer in Africa. We own 100% of our IP, so all our IP is owned, developed by us. And 85% of the vehicle's value is manufactured under one roof. So we start with raw tubing coming in, all the way manufacturing through. We manufacture our own battery packs, we do our own spray and painting, we manufacture our own boxes, and then the vehicle is out. So 85% of the vehicle value is manufactured under one roof. And we are now busy with our ISO implementation so that we can make sure that we have repeatability in terms of our quality. Just another project that we have in Soweto. Some of you might know Soweto is quite an iconic township in South Africa. So there's a massive demand for goods delivery. And funny enough, we actually see a lot of fast food apps coming into townships that do the connection like a Uber Eats for the township environment and the community where they're at. Springing up for all the small companies that's there, that's a big thing. Distribution of goods are a massive thing. And yeah, what you just found with the cargo e-bikes, the cost of what we have in our delivery is just, it enables an environment for growth of e-commerce and distribution of goods. And that ultimately comes down to the pocket of what someone will pay for a good that they buy. So we want to be part of pioneering a sustainability normal. And I like these words, pioneering a new sustainability normal. It must become normal to be sustainable. It must become normal to better your environment where you operate. So we see it as a rational engagement and a strategic, um, makes strategic sense to be in this green industry and for us to be in the business of delivering in a green and cost-effective way. Thank you.
Thank you, Bouwer. That was a very inspiring story about, well, especially about, let's say, the amount of added value that you capture within your own roof.
Yep.
That's good, because I would assume that, say, for example, the batteries are the main cost of the e-bikes as well.
Yeah, so we buy this. We have built Samsung battery packs. So obviously we can't manufacture individual components, but we buy this primary cells in, and we have a proprietary way of compiling our battery pack, which takes it to solid state and full waterproof.
Yeah.
And so that is all done in-house, assembling it into a battery pack of its battery management system.
Alright, so any questions? Otherwise, I will start talking.
Hi, coming back to these horrendous numbers of 50% of youth not having jobs. Do you have any numbers of developments when you had these 10 bikes offer jobs for 25 people? That you have the impact of how it developed and how it has further impact of creating more jobs beyond the jobs created by the bikes?
So currently there's one company in South Africa that imported, they created about 1,200 jobs in the delivery space, but it's more, it's not serving the communities, but it serves your typical, your formal areas with deliveries. So we want to roll out between 35 and 50 cargo hubs in the next 24 months, starting January. And that will create about, about 1,200 to 1,500 vehicles down, which will then in turn create about, let's call it 2,500 plus jobs. And that's where we're moving.
Yeah, thank you. Next question.
First, congratulations, and it's really impressive. I have a first question. How much does a hub cost and on the cargo bike cost on a trailer? What are your expenses for this production? And do you do all with your own money, or do you have help from the state or from other funds?
Yeah, so we part of Partnership for Growth, helps us through these development stages. So obviously not paying for the hubs or anything like that. So, but Partnership for Growth, you can check it out. It's a substantial fund. And then we have our own funds, and now we're in fundraising stages for going forward. We actually pitched to Unilever, their Transform project, so hopefully I hear next week from them as well. The cargo bikes, here's the key. We need to enable someone to come to work, do his work, knowing that he has an asset that works. He knows that he comes, he has his app or these routes that he's going to deliver. If he arrives and he knows that he has an asset that can work, and he's going to make his, I just want to quickly work it to euro, he's going to make his 35 euros for his deliveries for the day. Then the question is, what must he pay for that ability to generate 35 euros? We are looking at 4 euros for the shift. So, and that is the key. Arriving at the space, being able to have a vehicle that you can do your job, knowing that if you put in that hours for that shift, you're roughly in that ballpark of earning actually above what's minimum wage in South Africa.
I thought I saw a question there, but there's. Okay, that is something. Macan, il faut que tu parles avec ce mec ici, hein, parce qu'il a un plan d'entreprise. Hein? Tu as entendu qu'il l'a dit? Non, on va parler plus tard. No, I think there's scope for some learning here actually between you and
Well, we would
Makan,
love to.
and see
Sorry,
what
we
has-
spoke earlier, but we couldn't understand each other.
No, that's
But
that's
we
something.
are open to
Yeah.
really see if we can develop a product that can be manufactured. We actually thought about it earlier in the development process, but yeah.
One thing that came up with me, Bouwer, is let's say this 250 euros that Makan spent on making his prototype. Is that the kind of that's a general kind of cost that you have for your bikes?
Okay, so there's different kinds of materials, obviously, that you use in a bike. So we always push the envelope a bit. So we say to lower the impact on our riders and for the ability to earn more. It's actually a cost aspect is as you lower your weight of your vehicle, the cost also goes down because you use less materials. It's a we use in the bicycle industry. If it's light, it's super expensive. Yeah, not that light, but so we manufacture out of aluminium. So we have an all aluminium construction, but we're now moving to a composite construction, meaning made out of glass fiber and carbon fiber. And the only reasons for that is that the impact that the vehicles can take, especially on the boxes, is much higher when you use carbon fiber or glass fiber.
Yeah.
But now the cost is higher, and we build electric bikes, so it's obviously a different.
No, but your model obviously is different from what because you lease out the asset and then make it work.
And that makes sense financially for us.
Yeah, and I can see that also. Let's say has some hold some attraction to my finances as well, because they love this, making these things available.
Yeah.
So I guess you'll do right by Unilever. I saw a hand moving there. I'm not sure. Let's say, but we'll get this gentleman here.
Hi. Do you realise we need you in London?
You can talk afterwards.
Well, no, but
looked at yours.
I'm just being slightly mischievous again. But in London, we have got so-called self-employed riders working for the likes of Deliveroo. Let's name the guilty, please. The delivery organisation, the platform, doesn't pay a cent for the thing that the rider rides around on. And as a result, they are resorting to DIY retrofit on a crap frame. Excuse my French. It's a nightmare. And these people are only trying to earn a living. I do not want to place any burden on them, that they are doing what they can in terrible circumstances.
Yeah.
They have no proper guarantee of return on all of this, whereas what you're offering is a very coherent, transparent transaction.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm only half joking that we need you in London. It is a nightmare. How are you going to prevent the Deliveroos of this world ruining your business?
It's like you say, you need access to a vehicle. Okay? And even if you don't now make your own vehicle and you buy your own vehicle and you set up something for yourself, if you make that cost and you're not working for a week or 2 or 3 or a month or whatever, you still have that asset that you need to maintain and keep. And that was the South African context. And I think the context for Africa as a broader is that you have to you make the infrastructure available when that person needs it, and not have each person have its own infrastructure.
So I think that's a key, Bouwer, actually, and it's a very strong point. Huh?
Yeah,
it's a very strong point.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No. Thank you very much, Bouwer.
Thank you.
And we were talking. Yeah, big hand.